Okay, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Glad to hear it.
Enjoying the con so far? My name's Alex.
And I'm Nikki.
And I'm Ryan. And
Hello, you.
And we're the Good Note Guys.
Yeah, we're a jazz band. We do covers of a lot of Pokemon music, a lot of video game music in general. We do some fun stuff. And we're here tonight to talk to you guys about some great video game music from across the years.
because video game music it's a big part of our lives because of what we do, and it's always been a big part of my life because, I don't know, music in video games really helps. It just conveys everything about the game. And if I may, I'd like to start with a really stupid story. So when I was young, like 3 years old, my parents brought home our first game console, which was a Sega Genesis, which is great. And so my first games obviously were, the Sonic series, Sonic 1, 2, 3. And I always remembered my sister would play Sonic 2, and she wasn't that good, but, what are you going to do? So, of course, she'd get to the second level, and there's a lot of water there. And I, as a 3-year-old kid, was absolutely horrified of the drowning music in Sonic 2. I would run out of the room whenever it played. It haunted my dreams. So that's just a really early example of the horrifying effects that video game music can have. But, that's just a little anecdote from my stupid life. But
Yeah,
I don't know
if
if I
It's
was-
affected all of us in surprising ways.
Yeah, if I can build on that in terms of horrifyingness. When I was about probably 8 years old, I had Pokemon Gold on my Game Boy, and my parents would take my games away on the weekend, so I would always have to basically sneak into their room and grab it, and eventually
You're saying that on record, right?
My mom doesn't watch YouTube, it's okay. So one night I took it and I brought it in, and my particular game, you know how the batteries on the Game Boy Color games are kind of terrible? So it didn't save, so I had to keep it plugged in all night. I had to keep the volume down really low so I could sleep. But there was this little tiny bit of audio still coming through the game. And so I was in the middle of, I don't know if you guys know the Rocket Hideout in Mahogany Town, I think it is.
Yeah, that's it.
It's got this terrifying music.
It's some super low bassy,
And it,
like spooky dungeon music.
It actually came into my dreams. I woke up in the middle of the night, I was shaking, and I eventually just took it back into my mom's room and just put it on.
And in the end, justice was served.
Yeah, right? Gotta take a hammer to that Game Boy, and the game still works afterwards. Woo!
Creepypasta.
So yeah,
And I've got a fun story that could, it's a little less about scary stuff. It could segue us nicely into the first song we're going to talk about tonight.
go ahead.
I mean, we're all musicians. I used to play the piano. Some shenanigans went down. I can't feel my right hand anymore, so no more piano for me. I'm a bass guitar player now. But when I played the piano, I started playing the piano by listening to a certain song from Super Mario 64. And half the audience just realized what it was because I said Super Mario 64. And one day I went, I bet that would sound really good on that piano in the living room. And on that day, the piano became less than just furniture to me. And it became more and less.
And speaking of that
And
song, that's actually the first song that we're going to be talking about tonight.
So I sat down at my piano, spent a couple of hours, and I learned how to play Dire Dire Ducks and Jolly Roger Bay's music from Super Mario 64.
Which sounds like this. Yeah. It's a great song.
It is.
Probably the best from Super Mario 64, but that's just my opinion. Don't kill me. And, this is from a water level, and water levels are pretty notorious for having the most well-known pieces from the game that they're in, because their whole point is to set a really specific atmosphere, and whether that be,
waves and like flowing sound, very mellow, very chill. You can sleep here.
But what this song does, which is really, kind of revolutionary for soundtracks, I guess. I don't know how many games did it before this game, but, it introduced some kind of event-based, triggers into the soundtrack where, you'd start out on the shore and then leaping to the bay, and all of a sudden there's strings playing in the background, and it gives you more of an adventurous feel.
That was awesome timing.
Did I start with the strings? Yeah, they're coming.
Wishful hearing on my part.
And it just builds and builds, and even later in the level, sometimes you have to go exploring in caves and ships, and then they add this cool percussion, and the whole song just has a constant mount to it. Like right now, we're listening to the regular OST version, which includes all the mounting in a more of a linear way, so you can really hear how the song is meant to be listened to.
All right, here's the strings that I went crazy with when I was hearing before.
So yeah, this song is really popular, and I don't know, Alex, you're the one who knows most about. You have the biggest background with this music, so maybe you can tell us about it.
I played a lot of this music. There's something that is, I'm not sure. There's a pretty common thing in music. There's arpeggio. Is that something that everyone more or less knows what it is? An arpeggio, yeah, it's just kind of a series of notes that just goes up and down chords. And this song is almost exclusively done in arpeggios, and that's where you get that really nice rhythmical wave feeling. Kind of the song tends to sound like waves crashing on the beach. It is very good. I like it. Let me see, what else can I add to this?
I was just turning it down a little bit.
All right.
So yeah.
Can everyone hear us okay? All right, cool. We're gonna be giving away some stuff throughout the night, and I think now would be a good time to start off. We're gonna have some trivia questions actually about the various songs we're talking about. So we're gonna start now with a trivia question about the level Jolly Roger Bay from Super Mario 64. Anyone is welcome to answer. Just raise your hand. None of us can see, so my friend Andrew, raise your hand, Andrew, is going to pick someone out of the audience who wants to answer the question, and you can maybe win a fun thing. First question, there are two different versions of the painting you jump through to access the level Jolly Roger Bay. Can anyone describe both of those?
You're almost there. It's more about the different.
Yeah,
it's more about the
versions of the game. There are two versions of that painting.
Because in Japan, the actual level painting looked a little bit different. But you did get the first description, right? Can anybody tell us? Does anybody know what the Japanese painting looks like? It was also in the DS remake. If you've played that one. No. It's the same painting.
It's in the same place, but the painting is different.
Yeah, it just looks a little different. That's fine. If nobody knows, don't. All right. Well, whoever you just answered half it, that's fine. You can still come up here.
Come on up, and
we got a CD for you. Yeah, you can grab it.
All right. Yeah. The answer, by the way, the alternate painting is Bubbles.
Yeah. I don't know what the point of the change is really, but it exists.
Well, I think I did a little bit of research on this, and originally they had the bubbles, and then when they moved it over to America, they updated the painting because the bubbles were a little too simple. Then they brought the bubbles back. The bubbles actually have a turquoise frame instead of a gold frame, which is neat.
Okay. Well, I guess we can move on to the second question. We got 3 questions per song here.
The second question here is. Throughout the course of the level Jolly Roger Bay, there are a couple of stars that involve getting treasure chests. Can anyone tell me how many treasure chests total appear throughout all 8 stars in Jolly Roger Bay? Pardon? Can you speak up a little? 7. 7 is actually not correct.
Yeah, more or less.
You're close.
Close. Try again. Other way.
Cold. No, too high, too
7
high.
to 10. We'll get there.
8, you got it. Who said 8?
Right. Cool.
Come on up here, get yourself a CD.
Here you go. Andrew, give it up. We got Andrew here giving him out.
And then Third of all, and this one ties into a memory of mine with that game, through my entire childhood, there was one thing in that level that terrified me unnecessarily. And I think it had a lot to do with the fact that this big eel was completely silent and very large, and silent underwater large things in video games are just scary. Can anyone tell me that big, scary, terrifying, horrifying eel's name?
Yes.
Unagi? Yeah, it's Unagi.
Perfect.
Come on up.
Awesome. Here you go.
He'll go to you, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't work here. Well, that was pretty good. Okay. Well, I guess we have a lot to say about our next couple of songs, so might as well move on.
Anyone have any thoughts or questions they want to share about this song?
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, that's true. It's interesting the lack of like hard attacks, like because this is a kind of piano they're using as the main melody here, but the fact that there's no attack on it, there's no sound of it hitting, it's very floaty and it really adds to the sense of swimming, which I feel that really helps the atmosphere as a whole. It's cool.
Yeah, and I really like the counter melody that just brings that. Very great. It works for
I'd say that most video game underwater sounds would be orchestrated. Like, this is a very orchestrated song. It's got strings, it's got, keyboard. And
sections.
the same arpeggios.
I think something that's really characteristic of water levels is a lot of time like a slow melody but fast drumming.
Yeah, that's true.
Another thing that I would point out for that is Aquarium Park from Sonic Colors. I never played that game. Yeah, there are 3 versions of that song. They're all awesome, and they all have characteristically fast drumming.
Yeah. So yeah, just mainly like really orchestrated, floaty, a lot of long notes, small attack, quad ambience. yeah, pretty much. Just really relaxing, to be honest. Even if you're in the middle of drowning,
I think this song can be summed up by my statement from the beginning. I'll sleep in this level.
Yeah.
But Unagi is watching you.
I would sleep with at least a 50 caliber assault rifle.
Good luck with that.
Onagi, I'm not it's spooky. I would make sure to choose a star that didn't have Onagi.
Really, if you tell this guy that is standing in the room with him,
Do not do that. I
Unagi's
won't
here.
believe you, but I'm blind, so I can't prove that she
Cameo
isn't there.
appearance, Unagi. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we have a lot to say about the next song because we're actually going to be covering something from the Pokemon franchise, and that's really what we do here.
Favorite.
And there's a lot of generations to cover, so this is going to be kind of lightning fire.
So here's a song hopefully everyone recognizes. Everyone in here play Pokemon?
Awesome.
This CD we're giving out, by the way, is our first album of exclusively Pokemon covers.
Yep.
All right. I would hope you would recognize this then. Yeah, so gym themes. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of gym themes. In fact, can anybody name the total amount of gym themes you can hear throughout the main series Pokemon games?
This is a tricky one.
No rush. We're the last panel here.
Yeah.
Nope. Throughout all the generations.
How many different versions of this song appear?
A little bit high.
Right, that's a little high.
What was that? 17, you said?
17?
Almost.
Well, you're getting closer.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
16?
16?
There
Exactly.
you go.
Perfect.
There are 16 versions.
Yeah. Well, there's technically 15 different songs, but in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, if anyone's played those remakes, they have a function where you can kind of make the songs sound 8-bit, but it's not like real, like they're still remixed and built from the ground up, so that counts as the 16th version, I'd
So
say.
we would have accepted 15 or 16, yeah.
But yeah, what we're listening to right now, this is obviously the red, blue, yellow version, and it's very iconic for being the first one, so I guess that helps.
It's composed by, this one isn't a question, but it's composed by Junichi Masuda, who's a name that you guys might recognize if you pay attention to Pokemon music.
But yeah, you know, it's a very simplistic version because it's the first one. It's really just like, you know, but it's still very complicated. I'm gonna turn it up real quick, and you can listen to all the different.
They could only make 4 different sounds at a time, so they did a lot with that.
Yeah, you can hear all the different pieces going on behind the melody, and like there aren't even percussion. It's literally just bass line along top of bass line. It's just a lot of movement, and that was pretty, you know, significant of all of Gen 1 and even a little bit of Gen 2 is that they took the 4 channels and they sacrificed percussion, but they had a lot of moving parts, and it made it really complicated, but also really catchy. You can still sing along with this, which is cool.
Yeah, and that comes to the next question, actually.
Hold off on that one.
Go ahead.
Oh, wait.
What's the first gym theme?
Yeah, that's the one. Never mind.
What's the first gym theme in the series that actually features drumming?
Sorry. You got your mic there?
Yeah, I got it. And what is the first gym theme of the series that features drumming? Like percussion. Yeah, like
Either
the
generation or
theme.
games, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can say
People
the
know.
game, the generation.
What's that? Actually, all the gym theme, it's the same in each game for the most part. So in Gen 1, as we can hear right now, there isn't any drumming. But
Yeah, all of the gyms in the first generation have this music in the gym itself.
Right.
so it's more by generation than by specific, you know, gym leader or game.
It is
A little bit
not.
late.
That one does have drumming, but it's
Absolutely does.
I'm sorry, did somebody say something else?
Yes, Gold,
It
Silver,
was
Crystal.
Gen 2. It was Gen 2. Gold,
Mickey.
Silver, and Crystal.
You can
the
go
first
to that
ones.
song.
So here it is. With the drumming.
I think this version's incredible.
I think this is definitely, not definitely, but this is probably my favorite individual gym theme right here.
I think this
It's
really
so
like
jamming.
yeah, and
You
it-
get into this. When you're in this gym, you're like, yeah, I'm going to go fight Faulkner. He's going to have like Pidgey. It's going to be intense. He's going to have that level 9 Pidgeotto. Pidgey evolves at like 15 or 16. It's like, whatever, Faulkner can do it.
Yeah, no, this really, for an 8-bit song, it really sounds like a rock song. Like,
Yeah,
you could
I
hear
think
this
they did
being
this
played with
very
guitars.
well.
And I think that really, I don't know, it creates a cool atmosphere. Very triumphant, very much, you know, building to something, to a big battle.
Yeah, you can really, like I said, you can really get pumped for this song. But yeah. And then,
They did a lot of justice too.
Yeah, I think so.
when I got the Heart Gold and Soul Silver, this song got updated.
It's a lot more orchestrated. I think they, you know, could have went in the direction of like rock and roll, but they didn't choose to do that. It's a lot, you know, it's very a big band sounding. Like, you know, it's the flare
It's
trumpet.
like something that like a marching band might perform.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, it's a really good pumped. The drums are very similar.
And they all do slightly different things to like keep it fresh, which is crazy because there's been so many Pokemon games that I think they run out of ways to play this song, but not so much.
Not every version you play it turns out wonderful. We'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, that's it for the JoJo game. So everyone be able to figure out where we're moving on to here.
Yeah, Gen 3 was actually pretty big because it had, you know, 5 games in it, and they all use this gym theme. So a lot of people would recognize this, even like the younger crowd who played like Fire Red Leaf 3. Because even though that was, Gen 1 remix, they still used this theme. I guess they really liked it. I really like it.
Yeah, this is a lot of very nostalgic Pokemon games.
I just love the way that the drums stop and kick back in. It's very cool.
How many people out there heard this as the first Pokemon game theme?
So much.
We can't tell if you raised your hand.
It's fine, we're freaking young.
This is in the really recent remakes of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. That original Super Nostalgic version got this fabulous encoded theme.
Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire actually over the summer. That was my first time playing it, and we had it blasting through this amp.
What was my amp?
Only the best.
And it was like,
Gotta get the bassist amp. That's
I was just done right there. I was so in love with this game.
But like, I feel like Gens 1, 2, and 3 of the Pokemon games were constantly building on what the Gen theme in the previous game had. They established percussion.
you're about to drop the cool obscure back, aren't you?
I might. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see if we're
I'll
hive
do it if
minds.
you don't.
But, I feel like after Gen 3, a lot of things started to change, and they went in a very interesting direction with the Gen 3. Like, personally, I couldn't say that I'm a huge fan of what they did in Gen 4, but it works in a very different way. Did I say the obscure fact, Alex? Did I do it?
What? No, the interesting fact has to do with what the Generation 1 is.
I completely forgot. You can talk about that, because I completely forgot.
Do you remember what the Gen 1 theme was in?
I believe that the Gen 1 theme starts in the key of C, and then in Gen 2 they bumped it up to D, and in Gen 3 they bumped it up to E, which is pretty cool. It shows an interesting
it's very much,
continuity.
yeah. in the
Like
spirit
I
of
don't
that
100% know if that was intentional, but it's I like to think Junichi Masuda is a really great composer, so it could be. For all we know.
So then on we go to
Gen 4.
4.
So this is the first time that the Gen theme gets really different.
That's when it got really kind of experimental.
Yeah, the 4th generation has a really...
I don't know how I feel about this. It kind of just reminds me of kind of trucking.
What's that?
Yeah, gotta get that
Talking into
going. Sorry about that.
But
But it just reminds me of trucking through those games, getting through the puzzles. It's like, I'm not sure I have such a good feeling about this one.
And
I'm in stark disagreement with these two. I really like this theme.
I don't
It's very
dislike it.
different.
It's just different. And what's interesting is in the first 3 generations, I don't know how much you guys know about music, but the way you counted the first 3 gym leaders, or the first 3 gym themes, I should say, were in 4. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and it was very consistent and stable. And in this generation, you count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which gives it if that's what like March songs are written in, so it gives it a very March feel, like you're marching through the gym, trudging through the puzzles. And I think the puzzles in Gen 4 were pretty actually tricky,
There are some good puzzles in that game.
especially in Platinum.
Yeah, no, Platinum is definitely the crown jewel of the 4th generation.
Okay, now we're in Gen
Here,
5.
We get to Gen 5.
This is when they
Rock
get
and
good.
roll. Who's getting?
So Gen 5 finally went with the whole rock and roll sort of thing. I guess it's very American.
Yeah, it's very American. It's very.
Everything in Gen 5 has to be very American. So,
Gen
but
5.
I love this gym theme. It works so well. It's really hype. Like you get super excited. I get super excited.
The first time you walk into a gym, that's the like this silent
and press and
That's
But yeah, I don't know. Gen 5 also did a lot of experimenting. like the first gym leader whose type is different depending on what starter Pokemon you pick, and they really challenge you by giving you something that would beat you in the first gym, which is crazy, you know. It's cool though.
It's really cool to hear like what they tried in Gen 2 with 8-bit done in Gen 5 with like a legitimate.
Yeah, because I think
rock.
that this could have been the Heart Gold and Soul Silver remix. Personally, it's very much. Yeah, it's the same.
And then of course,
Well, yeah.
what are the more like black and white
For this one.
Which I think we have
One
all
more
three
question.
now.
So this gym theme right here, as I don't know how many people know, but Black and White, the games that this was featured in, they actually got a direct sequel, Black and White 2, and they did a really cool thing in Black and White 2 that I wish they brought back in Gen 6, but they didn't, unfortunately, which is to give all the gym leaders a different gym theme, which is cool, and this got repurposed for the first gym because it's very familiar and it worked very well. But then you get to the second town, which is this cool, chill, jazzy Burbank City, and you have
We
this
haven't
gym.
covered that one, by the way.
And you have this gym that's run by this band, actually, Roxy and the Toxics. As corny as it sounds, they're a poison gym. And the gym music is them actually, you know, singing and performing.
Yeah, and before we skip that one, like, let's talk about you walk through a little room on your way into the gym, and in that little room you hear like the distant sound of like rock drumming, and it's like, what is this? It's a very good way to say, hey, look, the gym music's gonna be different in this gym.
Yeah, they did a good job introducing it. So
Yeah, it was incredibly well executed. And here's how that one sounds.
it's actually singing. What is this? It's a thing they didn't do in Gen 6. You know, yeah, but it's
It's
interesting.
not the best thing, but hey, this is actually voice acting in a Pokemon game.
Yeah, and it's the last too, because in Black and White 2, those were the only games that actually had any kind of like voice clip in them, and then didn't come back for the 3DS games. Which I think it's kind of crazy, you know, more powerful, but I guess they just, you know, it's not something that they wanted to use as far as like voice acting goes. But
And we know how much Lunatic likes to take things out of you.
but you can hear how she's spelling out the word Pokemon. That's like her thing here. But believe it or not, in the Japanese version, she sings something completely different. So we actually have that here. Yeah, Doga.
Japanese
Which is cool. It's interesting that they had this kind of theme to the poison type, and then in America we just got spelling out Pokemon.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting if you spelled out like coffee.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame. I wish they had done that.
But yeah, Nikki, you can give the last question because it's related to this gym.
Yeah. The question is, what instrument does the type of Roxy play?
Everyone here okay?
Not quite. Surprisingly, yeah, she's the lead of the band, but she doesn't play electric guitar, which is cool.
I think Roxy's badass. There's your hint, everybody, when you're paying attention.
Yeah,
It is the
there you
bass.
go.
Awesome, yeah. Up there.
Yay, our lovely album, our first album, which we released last July. We'll talk a little bit more about what we do after we finish talking about all the music here. But yeah, let's
Anyone, let me just take a break for a second. Does anyone have any questions so far about the gym team? Thoughts you want to share? Anything like that?
she doesn't. Well, she doesn't have to because
Kind of playing
in the
in the
gym
gym.
they're all playing their instruments and she's playing the bass. And what's cool about this gym is the more. So everyone's playing an instrument, right? And after you knock out their team, they stop. So by the end of the gym, it's really just her sitting there with her bass, jamming out, and then you talk to her, and the whole gym goes silent, and it's kind of climactic in that way. So yeah, there's a lot more gym themes. So we're gonna kind of rapid fire through the rest of these because there's a lot. So let's just lightning round this crap. Let's go. So this creepy gym theme
This is creepy, and no one's quite sure why.
Yeah, it's the third gym leader, the bug type. He's kind of a clown dude, likes fashion, but
Not that scary.
his personality in Black and White 1 was very flamboyant and outgoing, and then it kind of got really subdued in Black and White 2. The gym is really creepy and very monochrome and dark, and, well, not dark, but you go through all these spider webs. It's really creepy, and the music, I mean, it really suits the bug type, I'd say, because it's all creepy crawly, but...
What's the trainer class that you encounter in there?
Harlequin.
Yeah, Harlequin. Okay, so it's got a very, like spooky carnival atmosphere to it,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
weird.
with like insects. It's a really weird gym.
It's really chill. Like, I love how it sounds.
Like, listen to this here.
It's really creepy. It's
really
dissonant.
weird.
It's,
Like, it's super chill. We don't dislike this song at all. We love this
I
song.
love it. I love all this. And yeah,
By the way, no piano can play this high.
And one thing that's interesting about Black and White 2's gym's themes, they never use the same chord progression that all the other generations used. They always are experimental in one different way, whether it's the main melody or what chords are backing up the melody. And it's interesting that way that
Well, this
everything
one
is
is
very
just dissonance, isn't it?
yeah, pretty much.
Dissonance just being the fancy schmancy music theory word for notes that don't like fit on the same scale.
Yeah, they make you go ow. But yeah, let's just move through these. So the fourth gym is interesting because in the first games, or Black and White 1, I mean, it's kind of an amusement park. But the gym leader herself, Eliza, is a supermodel. So what they did in Black and White 2 was they turned her gym into a big runway with a stage. And as you walk along this runway and beat up the beauty trainers, beat up the Pokemon, the music builds and builds. And I
you
think
can beat up their trainers. Don't listen to them.
I think this is one of the most hype gym experiences you will ever get, because you have the crowd screaming, you got little speech bubbles popping up cheering you, and you're walking up this runway, and you can go.
You take out one trainer, and then this happens.
It's just so intense with the crowd cheering.
Yeah, she hears like
I really look forward to this gym. That's fourth gym.
and that is Eliza, who is awesome.
Now this is Clay. He's the underground. He's the ground type gym leader. This music's very. It's just it's underground sound. It's got those deep, long instruments.
It doesn't really go into the high spectrum. It's just really money.
Yeah, it's money. That's a really good way to word that.
I'm always expecting to run into Darunia down here. Run into like
Chords, yeah.
What else in video games chills out underground? That's not a question. You don't get an album if you answer that.
This is Skyla.
In stark contrast to the super muddy, groundy feel of the last one,
She's the flying type gym leader. As you can obviously tell, this crazy, fluttery, awesome music.
and it's in the same vein as we're talking about the time signature for the fourth generation theme. This is in 6, which means we count to play like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just along with the song.
Which gives it,
It's very fluttery.
yeah, it gives you that feeling of flying. It does a really good job.
Which is great because this gym is complimented by an enormous fan.
Yeah, and I love how this is in Westrelton City, which is right after that shop. Jeez, it's great.
I'd have to say this gym theme is a little bit overdue.
Yeah.
It's just long.
We're about to fight some Durgans.
Yeah, dragons.
Well, hey, isn't it a really long gym in
Not in Black and White 2. It's
yeah.
just an elevator. In Black and White 1, it's a big long puzzle, but they streamlined it. But I think this, I don't know, I just think this song is too loud and too long.
Especially since it's the 7th gym.
Yeah, I think they were trying to get like a really big, intense, like it's the dragon kind of a feel to it. But I think they kind of, I don't think the DS sound chip quite had enough power to get what they were going for, so they wound up just making the notes long.
Notes on a DS don't sound very good when they're very long. They get old.
Alright, so we're done with this gym.
And now.
Heading towards the 8th gym. We're all hyped. We're going to the Elite Four. We're gonna do this.
Step into the 8th gym.
It's so chill.
It's like you went to a shopping mall, but everyone is stoned.
And there's a resort there too, and it's great. It's super relaxing.
What's that?
Yeah,
it kind of does. It's
exactly.
got, you know, the xylophone and
What is sitting in the elevator? But yeah.
it's really interesting because mostly the 8th gyms are trying to be super intense and hype, and that's the cliche that, you know, Black and White 1 followed with the Dragon Gym at the very end. And in this game, you have the Dragon Gym, and then suddenly you're in this town you've never seen before, and you have this super chill gym for your 8th gym, and it's really cool. And
Floating around on lily pads and battling people with like bathing suits and stuff.
Gen 5 does cool things for its 8th gyms, because a really unrelated thing that's cool that I love was, not a lot of people watch the Gen 5 anime, but in the Gen 5 anime, Roxy, the poison-type gym leader, was actually the 8th gym that Ash Ketchum fought in the Unova region, which is cool. He didn't go to the big dragon gym, he went off course, and it's cool. It really helps spread the idea that these gyms really, in realism, could be done in any order, but, you know, the games are very linear.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I guess this is sort of a water level.
Yeah, that's true. You do,
So,
you know, go float around on lily pads.
Like, and okay, as another characteristic of water levels in general, I would sleep here. This is a place I could take a really great nap. Napping on a lily pad, wake up, realize it's a Louis Polo. Good stuff, fun times.
And there's really only one more gym theme that we have to play, which is Gen 6 X and Y gym theme, which is,
It's a little generic.
it's Gen 1. It's really just Gen 1 with some percussion. It's very basic.
They did that to them, just slam the nostalgia.
Yeah, in this next generation, like, they were really trying to say to people, like, hey, remember the first generation? It's like that, but now it's 3D, and you have Nintendo's with Pokemon, and you have, like, 25 rivals, and it's fun.
I mean, they scripted the first encounter as a Pidgey. Come on.
Yeah, that game was the nostalgia game.
What I really love is just wraps this whole thing up with gyms is that just the progression of it. It goes from just so incredibly simplistic, you know, from Gen 1, and it just kind of progresses through, you know, the series as a whole.
But
Just getting
honestly,
more and
I
more.
think that Black and White 2 was the high point.
I
Yeah.
think so. And
I think they
definitely-
regressed a bit in Gen 6.
I think they did, but I think they really just kind of Gen 5, especially Black and White 2, is where they really started to kind of care more. I think because before that, Pokemon music has always been really great, but it's always been very, you know, those short the loops are really short compared to some other video game
Yeah,
music.
they never really pushed the envelope.
Yeah, and I feel like just like, and these two for nostalgia factor because, you know, the first one was like, look at this new sound chip, we can do stuff with it. Remember Gen 1? And then it was, you know, the Oras, the remakes, where they were like, remember Gen 3? So I'm very interested, you know, with whatever the next
Yeah,
generation is to see what
I
they
have
do.
high hopes for the next Pokemon game.
If they ever announced them, you know, that's a different story.
Pokemon turns 20 next weekend. Get hype, everybody. It's gonna happen.
Only 475 days till Pokemon Z confirmed.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Aw.
It's okay.
You really
It's
think
okay,
they'll
we'll
do it
get
that
there.
soon?
In the meantime, buy our album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
That's
true.
I'm
That's
pretty
true.
excited for
Pokken
that.
Tournament.
That was, yeah.
Suicune
See
mains
the
for
new
life.
trailer that came out today?
Yeah, that game looks really cool.
I didn't get a chance to see the new trailer.
Yeah, I don't see how it couldn't be like fun.
Yeah.
It's a fighting game. Those are usually fun, right? Am I wrong?
It's like Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, but they're doing it with Pokemon, so it's gonna be super hype because it's Pokemon. And Pokemon, in case you guys haven't picked up on our opinion on this, is a good thing.
Yeah. It's a great thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right?
Come on.
Yeah, let's get some Pokemon Snap too. Pokekel's already designed it.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that? Yeah, right.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
like the
that'd be
Wii U would
beautiful.
be the perfect thing to put Pokemon Snap 2 on.
Oh man, no! Put a feature on Pokemon Go, so you can just
Ooh.
like walk around and take pictures of Pokemon. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Take a selfie with me.
Oh my
My
god.
Espeon, you know.
Yo, so can I just get a selfie with it like an Espeon on my head?
Oh my
exactly.
I'll make that my profile picture for everything.
Please. Oh my gosh. That'd be great.
But that pretty much concludes our Pokemon stuff. We got one more track from a different series that we want to talk about.
We're gonna spend a little bit of time on this one, then
it's-
maybe open the floor up for some discussion, give out some more CDs.
Yeah,
man.
so this next song, it's from a first level in a game that I'm sure a lot of people will recognize, and
And it's hype.
it's very hype.
It is.
So go ahead, Nikki, hit it, and you're gonna have to hit play because I paused it. We went there.
Yeah.
Rolling around at the speed of sound. Got
Everyone knows
places
this song.
to go,
Everyone knows the
gotta
lyrics.
follow my rainbow. Can't stick around, have to keep
I'm putting
moving
a
on.
lot of
Guess
emphasis
what
on
lies
singing along right now.
ahead?
It's
Only
all
one way to find
Oh,
out.
sorry.
Must keep on
But yeah, this is
moving
Escape from the
ahead.
City.
No time for
Anybody
guessing,
doesn't
follow
know.
my pain instead.
And this plays in the first level of Sonic Adventure 2. Came out in 2001 for Dreamcast, and then very shortly after the GameCube. And this song does a lot of things. For one fact, it's the first level theme in Sonic that has like actual lyrics. It's very memorable, and it's great sounding. It's very high energy. And the way it starts, you got that little bass riff, and then it kicks in, and it really fits well if you watch the cutscene where he smashes part of the helicopter and jumps down into the town, and then snowboarding down concrete because that works apparently. And yeah, you know, Sonic does whatever he wants.
Danger is lurking
Goes
around
fast.
every turn. Trust your feelings.
But yeah, you know, this song is really passionate. I love the lyrics. They're really corny, which is something that you can say about pretty much any song with lyrics from Sonic.
You know, sometimes you gotta have a little bit more in your life.
That's
Makes
what we
things
have
better.
out.
This level, I would not sleep in. And that's why I love this level, because if I slept there, I would get hit by a truck.
So our first question is, who was the song originally composed by? Who is the composer behind it? Or if you could name any of the lyrics that people sing in the lyrics, that'd be great too. Either one. The composer. Fresh Prince playing. The composer who wrote the song is, well, I don't want to give it away, but if you can name the composer or anyone singing right now. Yes, it was Prince and Oil.
That was a tough one.
Here you go.
And they redid this song.
This was by.
Sonic Generation.
This is the classic version, Sonic Generations. This was done by Cash Cash. He took the original track and he kind of mashed it up with a bunch of classic Sega Genesis sounds and really, you know, like synthesizer. It fits pretty well, you know. It's a completely different style because it's very techno.
That's really a trademark.
Yeah, he likes to synthesize. But the second question, which will become relevant within the next 30 seconds,
Pick up the volume for that.
I will when it comes on, because I'm just listening to the chorus right now. But there is a particular melody that is being auto-tuned and remixed in the second verse of this particular version. And if anybody can name what Sonic melody that is, then they'll win an album, which will be playing right now, so you can give it a listen.
Oh yeah. Danger is lurking around every turn. Trust your feelings, got to live and learn. I know with some luck that I'll make it through. Got no other options, only one thing to do.
So if anyone here is a classic,
So good.
if anybody here is a classic Sonic fan that played the original 3 games, you can probably maybe identify that melody, but it's a pretty hard one. It is from Sonic 3.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you got the name a little bit right. You were right on mine half.
It's alright if you don't know the name. That was pretty close. It's kind of hard because the names aren't very apparent. But anybody knows?
getting warmer. You got the right first butter on the first word.
And mine is in there. That's the second.
Yeah.
No. All right. Well,
That's fine. Guy who got mine,
yeah.
close enough. And you know what's from Sonic 3?
The answer
Endless Mind.
is Endless Mind. Yep.
Good one, though. Very good.
Yeah, man.
And right here is the modern Sonic remix of City Escape for Generations.
Oh, that's makes me sad that I can't.
And this is unlike the classic remix for Generations. It's the they actually came back and they all re-recorded this. This is new vocals, new instrumentation. Really cool. After 10 years, the song evolved. It's so fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think the hype factor is really even higher on this song.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Those people were like, oh my god, it's City Escape. It's so good.
But yeah, you know, for a first level, I think the first level song is probably one of the most important things in a video game. Is can you hook a player in with a good soundtrack?
And that first part is really the most important.
Everyone remembers it. So
Excellent music has always been great on the Sonic franchise.
yeah, that's one thing they haven't quite gotten wrong yet. So yeah, that's pretty much the three main songs that we wanted to talk about, even though there was probably like over 25 songs that we talked about. But
I swear we had one more question about this.
we do have one more question about the song. The last question about the song, and I don't know how many people either played the re-release that came out on Steam a few years ago or played the original Dreamcast version. But while you're running away from the truck at the end of City Escape, you can see a very specific Sonic Adventure 1 character run by. There you go. And yeah, Big the Cat appears in every single level in Sonic Adventure 2, the Dreamcast version, and then got taken out in the GameCube version, put back in the re-release.
Find Froggy. It's very important.
So yeah, that pretty much, you know, if anybody else, we want to kind of open it up, if anyone wants to say anything about video game music as a whole or any of these three songs.
Yeah.
It depends on your preference and how you work as a musician, because there's really three ways to go about it. You have, you know, exclusively software, like you know,
Like the Pokemon games.
like Mac Pro Tools or you know, Cubase or something like that, and that gives you a lot of freedom. If you're more of a musician who has a background of performance or playing, for instance, I'm a keyboardist, so the way that we work, there's not quite enough of us to be a live band, and that's really the third way you go about, you know, covering VGM to be a live band. But the three of us, we make music digitally, but we use hardware for that. We use a physical keyboard, and it gives a decent amount of freedom, and it gives you the freedom of physically being able to play everything. So it all kind of sounds more organic, because you know you can only get so much, you know, roboticism and organic sound out of a computer software. So, you know, a mix of the three is preferably what you want to go for, but it just depends on the resources you have.
Yeah, but if you're really interested in like learning about video game composition, doesn't Jake Kaufman have like VODs from a podcast uploaded?
Yeah, Jake Kaufman, the composer of Shovel Knight, he's done a couple streams. He's talked about the software side, you know, coding for like 8-bit games and stuff.
And that man is a genius.
Oh my gosh.
Shovel Knight, the HD remix of DuckTales, this new video game villain boy band called Big Bad Bosses. Very good stuff.
Yeah,
Jake
really
Kaufman, he knows his music.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, if anybody else has anything else they want to say, questions.
What's the time?
We got a few more minutes.
All right.
We started a little bit late, so we might go a few minutes over.
I think there's another panel after us.
No,
We're good. We're good. We can go until you guys get sick of us.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
if you have any questions or
Questions, memories about video game music you want to share?
yeah, we love stories.
Um, yeah.
Danger is lurking around every turn. Trust your feelings, got to live and learn. I know with some luck that I'll make it through. Got no other options, only
You know, that's really great that you asked that because that was a point that I was going to go in depth about that I completely forgot about. Yeah, AAA titles really tend to lean towards scores,
orchestral,
big
yeah.
orchestrated background music, things you can't hum, things that you would just kind of, you could play the game on silent and it wouldn't matter. And personally, I'm not a fan of that trend. I prefer video game music you can remember, video game music that you can cover, video game music that you can really enjoy. And even AAA titles, they do a good job building the atmosphere of the game, but I miss the old days of melodies. And,
Well, and there's actually still an entire part of the video game industry that does that, and that is
indie games. Indie games,
Yeah.
a lot of people are into that retro stuff. They're into good soundtracks, and that's the best
Any-
place to find good video game soundtracks.
Anyone ever
nowadays.
play I Am Bread?
That game
that
has
game?
such a good soundtrack, and I don't know why.
yeah, but
So
no,
great.
Like the best thing for me about video game music is that you can have so many memories tied to it, and the fact that you're never gonna be like, oh, do you remember that really cool build-up with the strings at this one part of this one game? It was great, yeah.
That being said,
It's
Metal
like-
Gear Solid, fantastic.
Yeah, and like the
But,
background music
and
to
it-
something like Skyrim, you could vibe to that. You could put that on in the background. And
Yeah, but a game like that really wouldn't benefit. Like games that are supposed to be super cinematic don't really benefit from having, like a techno band or a rock band just going in the background.
yeah,
Yeah,
which
that's
is a shame because
That's
that's what I
why
prefer.
like platformers and things like the Pokemon series or the Sonic games really benefit from having a soundtrack because you're not supposed to be immersed in a realistic world. It's okay to have a cartoony, fun soundtrack going in the background to just get your blood going.
Yeah, if there's one thing that can be said is that Nintendo still really cares about their soundtracks, which
Oh
is
my
great.
God, Mario Kart 8.
and Smash and
Rainbow Road 64, don't even get me started.
yeah. So you'll never go wrong with a Nintendo game. I'll tell you that much.
Oh.
But yeah, that's pretty
Nintendo
much
still really cares about their soundtracks, and Sega isn't a company anymore.
it. Not really.
Let's have a moment of silence for Sega.
They'll get there. Maybe they'll release something this year. There was
I don't care that I'm blind. If that
There's
happens,
many
I'll buy
petitions
four.
for that. There was a Kickstarter project for Dreamcast 2. It's been a big thing, but I just don't think Sega could support a console right now. But yeah. I love Iris's theme.
Yeah,
It's so happy.
It's-
It's
yeah.
so different because all
just
the other
having
champion
so
teams
much
are super intense and scary sounding, and Iris she's just having
Yeah,
a good time.
Like with all the other champion teams, it's like, wow, this person is really hard to battle, but they're a pretty cool person. And with Iris, it's like, man, let's have some cake after this
Yeah,
battle.
exactly.
It's so fun. It's fun. Yeah, me too.
It's time to battle. Here's your snow cone. Yeah, no, Iris is a really good champion.
Let's just hope her in-game personality isn't her
It's
anime
not.
personality. That's terrible.
She's not super great in the anime.
All right. Well,
Anybody else?
Anybody? Yeah. Oh, we got two questions at once. All right, just go one after the other.
Oh my gosh. Do not get me
Don't
started,
get me started
on that.
Undertale. I'll be
That-
here literally
that is a
24
great
hours.
question to ask.
We'll talk through the cabaret about that, really. I love the titles, like Bird that carries you across disproportionately small gap.
I was
my
just about to
God.
say that,
This
yes.
is the best. Oh my gosh.
I think Undertale has kind of set I don't know. There's so much I could say about Undertale.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
It's
It's
I think
incredible.
it's cool. Oh man, what's the guy's name?
Toby Fox.
Toby Fox, right? Of course. I think it's great that Megalovania is his theme song,
Yeah, I
and
love
he just put it in the game because it's his theme song.
Megalovania has been in everything he's done. And
Like in my mind, that would be the best thing about being a video game composer. Make a song, choose it as your song, and just like put it in games.
Yeah. I love the continuity of I love the continuity in a lot of the songs on that song. There's so many versions of Santa's theme, for example. You got the regular one, and then you got It's Raining Somewhere Else, like the really slow one, with cool stuff, and then and then you got a song that might make Sans. It's just like, oh man, there's so many things you can do with that one little thing. It's great. It's awesome.
Undertale rules. That's our conclusion.
Undertale, bro.
Anybody else?
Who
Oh, yeah,
was
we
the
had
other
another guy.
question? Cool. Those are so good. That's a good question.
It's hard to say because I feel like, well, I mean, as far as gaming goes, if a soundtrack is really well acclaimed, I feel like those composers usually stick around. For instance, the composers who made, say, the Sonic Unleashed soundtrack came back for Lost World and Sonic Runners, and you can really hear their style come through. A very happy piano orchestrated style. And
Well, there's I guess Jan Kirkhope.
yeah, Dark Galaxy's for Rule. I love all the 90s Rare games. They're so good. I don't know if you two had anything to say about that. All right, yeah. All right,
Yeah,
well,
we're
we're
glad
probably
you
going to
guys
finish up. We just wanted to talk a little bit about what we do specifically. As
Yeah.
we said in the beginning, the three of us, we make Pokemon covers. That's the main thing we do right now. We're a jazz band. Jazz is our main style. And we released our first album last July. It's called Critical Capture. It's all over the internet, on our iTunes, our Bandcamp. That's pretty much, that's what we do. We're working on our
stuff.
second album.
Everything that we have out right now is on Bandcamp, but just the first album is on iTunes. And everyone pull out those phones, follow us on Twitter at GoodNoteGuys.
Yeah, that's GODNOTEGUYS. Good note, guys.
We have the occasional clever tweet.
Yeah. And we stream every Thursday night. We stream from 9 p.m. to midnight. That's Eastern time on twitch.tv/thegoodnoteguys. And we work on music live with chat, and it's always fun.
Yeah, it's fun
People come
stuff.
out.
We actually, our most recent song we did exclusively working with a chat on Twitch.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I
And
think that's it.
We'll be walking around the convention all weekend, so if you have, you want to talk to us, we'll be here. We got plenty more albums to give out, so if you'd really like one, then come, track
Yeah,
us down.
thanks for coming out, everyone. It's been fun. We hope we didn't suck too much.